Academic language. Jim Cummings' distinction between two languages, CLP and BICS, is being widely used to describe vocabulary and language use in U.S. classrooms. Content words. These are the key vocabulary words, terms, and concepts associated with a particular topic being taught. Example, for the American Revolutionary War, redcoats, democracy, patriots, freedom of religion, shot heard round the world, Paul Revere, etc. Process/function words. These are the words that have to do with functional language, e.g., how to request information, justify opinions, state a conclusion, etc. Language used in the classroom for processes and tasks. Example, share with a partner, discuss, line up, graph, list, classify, etc. And language processes. Example, scan, skim, question, debate, argue, summarize, etc. Other kinds of words that are included in this category include transition words, therefore, in conclusion, moreover, furthermore, etc., and sequence words, first, then, next, finally, at last, etc. Words and word parts that teach English structure. These are words that enable students to learn new vocabulary, primarily based upon English morphology. Students in grade 12 know about 175,000 words with roots. Of these, about 15,000 are known by a majority of students. Additionally, students through grade 6 acquire approximately 800 to 1,200 root words per year. There is no way that English learners can realistically learn all the words they need to know through instruction and memorization. Therefore, all teachers, elementary and secondary alike, must help students learn that many English words are formed with roots and base words joined to prefixes and suffixes. Accent prominence. See stressed syllable, the phonology or pronunciation of a specific regional dialect, example, Southern accent, the pronunciation of a language by a non-native speaker, example, French accent. Accidental gap, non-existing words which are believed to exist. E.g., blick, unsad, gooder. Accountability, the program should be helping students learn to the standards expected both locally and nationally. Towards this end, classroom-based evaluations are important to evaluate the effectiveness of instruction. Suitability of general instructional goals associated with individual lesson or unit plans. Effectiveness of instructional methods, materials and activities used to attain instructional objectives. Adequacy of professional resources required to deliver instruction. The issues related to classroom-based evaluations have more to do with the teacher and the instructional aspects of language learning than with the student and their learning methods and goals for achievement. The evaluation can identify factors that impinge on the effectiveness of the teacher's instruction. Acoustic, pertaining to physical aspects of sound. Acoustic performances, the study of the physical properties of sound. Acoustic phonetics, the study of the physical characteristics of speech sounds. Acoustic signal, the sound waves produced by any sound source, including speech. Acoustic sounds, sounds made when you speak, and the study of physical properties. These are bilabial, lip sounds. Stop sounds, throat stops. Transitional sounds, semivowels and glides. Voiceless palatal stop, tongue and throat sounds. Voiced alveolar fricative. Voiceless alveolar fricatives, S sounds. Voiced alveolar stop, D and K. Acquired dyslexia, loss of ability to read correctly following brain damage in persons who were previously literate. Acquisition, the ability to obtain something. Acronym, word composed of the initials of several words and pronounced as such, example, PET scan from positron emission tomography scan. Action, verb. Active sentence, a sentence in which the noun phrase subject in D structure is also the noun phrase subject in S structure, example, the dog chased the car. See passive sentence. Additive bilingualism, when learning a second language does not interfere with the learning of a first language. Both languages are developed at the same time and equally. Adjective, the syntactic category, also lexical category, of words that function as the head of an adjective phrase, and that have the semantic effect of qualifying or describing the reference of nouns, example, tall, bright, intelligent. See adjective phrase. Adjective phrase, a syntactic category, also phrasal category, whose head is an adjective possibly accompanied by pre-modifiers, that occurs inside noun phrases and as complements of the verb to be. Example, worthy of praise, several miles high, green, more difficult. Adjunction, a movement operation that copies an existing node and creates a new level to which the moved category is appended. Adverb, the syntactic category, also lexical category, of words that qualify the verb such as manner adverbs like quickly and time adverbs like soon. The position of the adverb in the sentence depends on its semantic type. Example, John will soon eat lunch, John eats lunch quickly. In a VP. It is a modifier of the head and is often optional. Affective strategies include identifying one's feelings, such as anxiety, and becoming aware of the learning tasks that bring them on. Certain affective strategies can help learners overcome such feelings as anxiety. Affective filter shows how motivation, self-confidence, and anxiety play a role in language acquisition. The more stressed out a student is, the less likely they will be able to learn anything. Affix, a bound morpheme attached to a stem or root. See prefix, suffix, infix, circumfix, stem, and root. Prefixes, infixes, and suffixes that go at the beginning, middle, and end of word to change or add meaning to a word. Affricate, a sound produced by a stop closure followed immediately by a slow release characteristic of a fricative, phonetically a sequence of stop plus fricative, example, the ch in chip, which is t, and like t plus. African American, vernacular, English, AAV, dialects of English spoken by some Americans of African descent, or by any person raised from infancy in a place where AAVE is spoken. Agent, subject. The thematic role of the noun phrase whose referent does the action described by the verb, example, George and George hugged Martha. Agglutinative language, a type of synthetic language in which words may be formed by a root and multiple affixes where the affixes are easily separated and always retain the same meaning. Agrammatic aphasics, persons suffering from agrammatism. Agrammatism, agrammatic, language disorder usually resulting from damage to Broca's region in which the patient has difficulty with certain aspects of syntax, especially functional categories. See Broca's area. Agreement, the process by which one word in a sentence is altered depending on a property of another word in that sentence, such as gender or number. Example, the addition of s to a regular verb when the subject is third-person singular, in English. Allomorphs, variants of morphemes that differ in pronunciation but are semantically similar. Alternative phonetic form of a morpheme, example, the s, z, and z, forms of the plural morpheme in cats, dogs, and kisses. Allophone, a predictable phonetic realization of a phoneme, example, p, and ph, are allophones of the phoneme /p/ in English. Alphabetic, letters and combinations of symbols to produce sounds of a language, i.e. consonants and vowels. Alphabetic abbreviation, a word composed of the initials of several words and pronounced letter by letter, example, MRI from magnetic resonance imaging. Alphabetic writing, a writing system in which each symbol typically represents one sound segment. Alveolar, a sound produced by raising the tongue to the alveolar ridge, example, s, t, n. Alveolar ridge, the part of the hard palate directly behind the upper front teeth. Ambiguous, ambiguity, the terms used to describe a word, phrase, or sentence with multiple meanings. American Sign Language, ASL, the sign language used by the deaf community in the United States. Analogic change, a language change in which a rule spreads to previously unaffected forms. Example, the plural of cow changed from the earlier kind to cows by the generalization of the plural formation rule or by analogy to regular plural forms. Also called internal borrowing. Analogy, the use of one form as an exemplar by which other forms can be similarly constructed. Example, based on bow/bows, so/sows, English speakers began to say cows instead of the older kind. Analogy also leads speakers to say *brang as a past tense of bring based on sing/sang/sung, ring/rang/rung, and so on. Analytic describes a sentence that is true by virtue of its meaning alone, irrespective of context. Example, kings are male. See contradiction. Analytic language, a language in which most words contain a single morpheme and there is little if any word morphology. Example, there are no plural affixes on nouns or agreement affixes on verbs. Also called an isolating language. Vietnamese is an example of an analytic language.